Corruption without consequence infects all it touches.
Supreme Court writing that under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all official acts.
I think AOC is largely motivated by the Supreme Court's immunity decision last week involving Donald Trump.
Citing high crimes in their now exposed practice of taking these huge gifts and then hiding it and failing to disclose and then refusing to recuse.
Comes just after Senators Sheldon Whitehouse and Ron Wyden made a formal request to DOJ. They want a special counsel appointed to criminally investigate Supreme Court Justice Thomas for accepting travel and the loan of a luxury car from wealthy donor friends.
But the immunity decision rests on the constitutional separation of powers between the executive branch, Congress, and the judiciary, and her motion does nothing to address the Constitution.
Against Justice Thomas, the resolution includes 3 total articles. 1 count of failure to disclose financial aid.
AOC has suggested corruption without consequences infects the government. I think she's absolutely correct, but her target is misplaced. She should look at corruption within the Biden administration.
This is on the tails of the egregious media campaign that has been waged against both Justice Thomas and Justice Alito.
For one, this motion by AOC is likely to go nowhere. Number 2, what will likely happen is either Congress will fail to take it up or Congress will simply table AOC's motion.
We also know that impeachment is a political process, that it is sort of vague when it gets to the conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. What that means, there are volumes in law review publications on what that phrase in and of itself means. But the one concern that I have here is that while this isn't likely to go anywhere right now because the Republicans hold the majority, it's a signal of what the tactics the left will take to try to debase the Supreme Court, to try to remake the Supreme Court in their image, or to try to pack the Supreme Court with justices that they see favorable to them.
These articles of impeachment are not based in any of the decisions that either of these 2 justices have made, but instead specifically about their conduct around the office. For instance, in both Thomas and Alito's case, she is accusing them of not properly disclosing financial benefits and gifts that they were given by donors and others, and in some cases people that had business before the court or even had a vested interest, a political interest in some of the issues before the court. And she's also doing that in the case of Clarence Thomas, saying that he refused to recuse himself from certain cases that his spouse.
So keep in mind that among the charges that AOC has brought against Alito and Thomas has to do with the work of Alito and Thomas's wives as independent citizens. In other words, they are not entitled to have a particular opinion. And I think, as Logan correctly points out earlier, they are not allowed to exercise their free speech rights. And if you think about it, the Democrats want to go back to an age in which the husband completely controls the speech rights of his wife. I thought the Democrats were in favor of progress, but apparently not when it gets in the way of their political agenda.
The Republicans currently only have about a 4-seat majority in the House of Representatives. So just a very small shift in the makeup of that body, and you could be seeing this actually proceeding to some sort of vote and maybe even some sort of investigation and being referred over to the Senate. We're not that far away as far as the makeup of the parties from that happening.
that is deadly to democracy in the long run, and that is the willingness of Democrats to politicize virtually anything.
And other justices have also been criticized for relationships with groups that have cases before the court. The Congresswoman has not filed articles of impeachment against them.
Now, in terms of whether or not this impeachment will ever become a reality, Chris, that seems very unlikely. Republicans, of course, still control the House of Representatives. There is a very slim to almost no chance that the actual articles of impeachment ever even come up for a vote. Ocasio-Cortez does have the ability to offer what's called a privilege resolution, which would mean it would force a vote, but the Republicans could immediately just vote to table or move to table the resolution, and that would bring it to an end. But even if for some reason they got through the House of Representatives, let's say the election goes in the direction of the Democrats in the fall and she brings these up next year, it would require, just like it would in a presidential situation, a 2/3 conviction in the United States Senate in order to remove either of them from their post as a Supreme Court justice. So it is a long shot in any way, shape, or form. This is very much a public relations effort by Ocasio-Cortez to voice the frustrations that Democrats have about the direction of the court and these two justices in particular, and perhaps have that be something that are in the back of the minds of voters as they head to the polls in November.